there will be spoilers for the entirety of A24's Backrooms. At the end of the movie, our final girl, Mary, a distraught psychologist who went to mysterious liminal space in search of her missing client, squeezed through a small passageway and ended up on the other end with mysterious men from a mysterious organization. Their faces, hiding behind masks, or their own shadow. The mysterious men with little to no faces to show at the end of the movie act as a symbol rather than characters. Narratively, they represent the organized institution that first discovered the backrooms, yes, but poetically, I think they might represent the disorganized, anonymous, and very real flesh and blood that etched the backrooms into our zeitgeist. They represent the anonymous contributors that first discussed this world and vibes into existence. Starting with this seemingly innocent question that touched something primal inside many of us. These two groups' endeavor is but the same: to search and to know more of this mysterious place. At the end of the movie, we only truly see one face that represents this institution. While the others are there at the scene, their faces are shrouded with shadows and masks, symbolizing their anonymous nature, just like their real-life counterpart. Sunday, May 12, 2019, 8:37 p.m. 4chan time, by Anon. Post disquieting images that just feel off. If you're not careful, and you clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum humbus, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. Welcome to Geist Tourist. This video is my attempt to untangle some semiotic elements that has been bothering my mind since my first viewing of Kane Parson's Backrooms. We have discussed the shrouded man from the mysterious institution, and next up we'll be discussing about pirates and the Ottomans. But before that, let me do a short praise for the movie.
We all want the same thing here. We do. We just want to find out even a little bit more.
What's gonna happen to me, Phil?
That is a line from one of the scientists at Async who interviewed our protagonist at the end of the movie. That line and that final interview scene cemented my opinion that Kane Parson's Backrooms as one of the best horror movie ever made. This whole thing begins from an image and a prompt that struck something primal inside of us, then slowly but surely turned into a fictional world by the internet, with lores and narrative threads that could be weaved and untangled endlessly. As we may already know, the reason that Backrooms as a concept became this popular was mainly because of its lore. The internet loves untangling the lore of this uncanny liminal space to find just a little bit more of this captivating concept. The internet loved this exercise so much so that, for me, it loses the sense of its mystery and mysticism from when I first saw the original 4chan thread and watched Kane Parson's original short film. After his viral short film debut, Kane Parson then continued to create shorts that rely heavily on its sci-fi elements, leaving bits and pieces of lore to be dissected for the fandom that are, hungry for more. More and more of world building and narrative that I think leads to somewhere, yet I never thought that I'd end up caring much about it. Internet lore heavy fiction isn't my cup of tea after all. That is why I am pleasantly surprised to see that Kane Parson's theatrical adaptation has more interest in treating the Backrooms as something to be experienced rather than merely explored. The movie is more feelings and less knowing. Hell, I even believe that the movie took a jab at this notion with its ending with Mary's last interview with Phil, the guy from the mysterious organization. With regards of Mary's unpleasant one-on-one prior to this scene, the only choice left for her safety is to tell him what he wants, to help him chart and map out the endless and impossibly vast liminal space. Now, let's imagine the director sitting on Mary's chair and us as the audience at the other end of the table. I wonder, and I really wonder what he would do next for the Backrooms as a franchise, knowing the divisiveness of his feature film. I think that's enough praise. Now, let's talk pirates. What do we remember of the pirates and the Ottoman Empire? If the Backrooms is the world misremembering itself, then, just like the Backrooms, us humans too try to remember things that we have little to no experience with. This notion is clearly demonstrated by Clark and his store, aptly named Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire.
Dude, I still don't get it. Are you like a pirate or a sultan?
A furniture store with caricature of the misremembered and long gone Ottoman Empire and the age of piracy. Family-friendly shadow of their ancient and bloody history. The disconnection between Clark's experiences with these two far-related elements, then amplified by the narrative of the film, amplified by the Backrooms. Clark, who after a breakup with his old partner, sleeps alone in his empire of misremembrance, where he somehow found a window to a much bigger empire. A much more literal empire of misremembrance. Clark's alienation between him and his own store then manifested in white flash by the Backrooms. We get a glimpse of Clark's proclivity towards self-destructive behavior and his self-inflicted isolation at the start of the movie. Then, after the narrative took him to the Backrooms, he stopped drinking. He spends more and more time in the Backrooms, charting out this mysterious new empire below his own, trading one destructive behavior to a seemingly destructive endeavor, trading one empire to a much bigger one. No wonder he feels at home in the Backrooms. After all, he was the one paying for the house, and the house's mysterious and ancient nature pays him back in kind.
No. You don't have to worry. She says we don't need to change.